Hello, mainstreamers and cinephiles and everybody in between. I'm Bryant.
And I'm Caitlyn.
And Operation Silver Screen is a go.
Hello, welcome to Operation Silver Screen. This cinema-related operation has been created to clear our desks from stacks of open cases. And what are these cases? Well, even being the film lovers that we are, Bryant and I have a huge backlog of must-see films that we still need to experience. So each week we'll talk a film that either one of us or both of us still need to see. We then provide a debrief on our week's mission, given our outlook on the film's popularity and significance, as well as provide our opinion on whether or not it is worth seeing and other fun insights. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different, a little more informal, I keep saying. A little bit more relaxed because we're going into our water cooler talk. And for this episode, we're going to be doing a year-end review. We're going to be talking about this past year, a year and a month, I guess it is now, that we've been here on the podcast. We did start this podcast back in December 2021, so it's been officially a year.
And what a great year it has been.
So for this episode, we're going to be going through a couple films that we've talked about this year, given some other insights, some thoughts about what we've watched this year. We're going to talk about some different things that we've noticed so far this year about trends and preferences that we have, and just that kind of stuff. Which is going to be a fun, nice little talk here today. Yeah,
and this isn't to be confused with our year-end review of movies overall, like we did with the 2021 year-end review, where we talk about, all the movies that we saw and our favorite movies of the year. This, we're really focusing on the operation itself. So kind of think of it like a business meeting almost, but way more fun, less angry, and you're actually happy to be there for once.
Yeah. So just meet up with your buddy at the water cooler.
Yeah. Less PowerPoints.
Thank God.
Which, by the way, your slides are due still.
Darn it. At the end, we will talk a little bit also about what we have planned for next year. We do have a couple new things that we're discussing and talking about and have planned, so just stick around for that as well. So, Bryant, where do you want to kind of start us off? Do you want to talk about our very first episode?
Our West Side Story?
Yeah.
Yeah, which you were not a fan of. You still haven't seen the new West Side Story, have you?
I still haven't, and I wasn't a fan, but we did give it the same grade. We both gave it C minuses.
Yeah, because there were things that we liked, but there was just a lot that we did not. And also, you always got to take away some points for some brown face. You can't just let that slip by, no matter the time.
I think that West Side Story was a good start, though, for us, because it really is a huge acclaimed film, and with the second one, the remake having come out that year, I thought it was a good choice. But I think something that, I have to give us props for is just how much better our audio quality has gotten since then, because I was giving a little bit of a re-listen, and I definitely feel like we've definitely grown more, both with our editing skills, well, Brian's editing skills, he's our primary editor here, and just our audio quality in general. We're doing good.
Yeah, you kind of want people to start from the beginning, but at the same time, you're like, hey, look, go ahead, start over here, and then go back. It's like watching Black Mirror. Start with the second episode, and then go to the first episode.
Yeah, although I don't know, I would say I liked the first episode of Black Mirror, but it got my attention. That's for sure.
No, you had me watch the second episode first. You and Coleman.
I think that was Lionel. No, that was Lionel.
Was that Lionel and you?
I think Lionel said to watch the second episode first.
Were you there though?
I was there.
Yeah, so you didn't disagree. You didn't like fight for it. You concurred, if I remember correctly.
I did concur. Yeah. I did concur. But the way I watched it is, good old Prime Minister episode.
That's one way to introduce people to the episode. And what a way to introduce people to the podcast, I think.
I don't know that West Side Story is quite the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get where you're going.
And then we moved on to, at first with West Side Story, we agreed a bit. Actually, like we were on the same page. Everybody was thinking like, oh man, like these two hosts are in sync. They're just bouncing off one another. They're probably always gonna have the same opinion. And then we did The Matrix, and that's when things started kind of slipping a little bit of our thoughts. I went ahead and gave that an S rating. I've seen that movie over 5 times. When I rewatched it for that episode and I saw it in IMAX. And that was a great episode, but you did not love the movie as much as I had. Though I think we agreed on everything. Like, you liked it for the same reasons and you had a dislike for it, but those weighed differently for you.
So it wasn't our most divisive episode. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, it was divisive. And I gotta say, so when we graded this, you said this was your S tier movie. Like, you love this film. I know that.
Yes.
And for me, I gave it a B plus at the time, but that was before I watched the sequels. And when I had given it that note, I said that the reason why I'm giving it this high is because it's a film with a lot of promise for the sequels. And then having that promise just completely shattered. I don't know that I would keep it at B plus. I think I would probably go a little bit lower, but I do still like the characters. There still are things that I like in it, for sure.
And I was trying to, without spoiling it, getting you to think of this film as just a film. Granted, I thought that was going to bring your rating up, not down.
Yeah, well, see, I don't know that I can, I'm not really sure. That's something I don't understand how you're able to do, personally. I don't know how to separate it because it's not a complete story at all. And I feel like there's so many elements that are relying on something coming later that I don't think that I can objectively view it as a single film.
And to me, I thought it was a complete film. Like, there's a lot more to explore there if you want to, but I was fine of where it was at, where it ended, where it began. I think it's almost kind of like a short story in a way. And it's like, okay, yeah, there could have been more added to this, but it's fine on its own.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a different way of how we view films. Because, like, for me, I don't really see it as a standalone too much.
Now look where you're at. Depending on sequels that completely failed you.
Yeah, not depending, because I knew that the sequels weren't going to be great. Like, you would give me that heads up that it's probably not going to be great. I did have some hope for the last one that we did our bonus objective on, but I always forget which one it is. Revelations, Resurrection?
Just pick a R word and go with it.
Yeah, just whatever R word it was. But I did have a little bit of hope for it, but yeah, based on what you have told me, I knew the sequels weren't going to be great, but I don't think I was expecting to dislike them quite as much as I did, especially Reloaded.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't too bad, and I don't think it ruins the film at all for me because it promises a lot, and yeah, it fails on a lot. I don't think that affects the first film for me at all. But like you said, I'm able to separate it from the original. Now, while we were God dang, you had me messing it up now because you say divisive, I say I don't even know what I say anymore, but it's not divisive. Divisive. Yes. But for some reason that doesn't go across my head. Anyway, and Kayla, you mentioned earlier how the audio was different in West Side Story and now, and it's not hard to recommend the first episode to people, but you want to recommend like what our actual audio sounds like right now, and it sounds crisp. But we had an episode, There Will Be Blood, which is actually it's actually our second episode. We did a episode before all of this for The Thing. That was our prototype episode, a lost tape, I guess you'll call it. But There Will Be Blood was, we did that episode, and were we even planning to release that at first? I think that was a backup episode.
I think we were. It was a backup.
Yeah, that was a backup episode, but we noticed that the quality was so different that we weren't sure when we were going to use that backup episode, and we were worried that, like, hey, if we use this 6 months later, it's going to be such a transition. We might as well put it out right now. And for some reason, I don't understand. I wish you guys would tell me, but that is our number one most listened to episode. Like, still, it actually broke into the new the new 10th, the new digit for episodes. Like, I don't understand what it is about. I don't know if it's because you guys hear the episode There Will Be Blood and everybody just starts, getting, I don't know, start getting attracted to that title, start getting riled up. I talked to somebody and they just said that's the first episode that they went with.
I mean, There Will Be Blood, it's a great film, so, I mean, fair. I can understand it. But it is kind of a random pick of all the ones that we've done.
Yeah, it's a great film. It's not like, that film's been out for a while, and I've only had one person recommend that movie to me. So it's not like that's one of the movies that everybody's been talking about and we finally watched it. No, it's just, I mean, it does have a great director. It is a great piece, but it's still beating out other movies like Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think that would be, if you think about it in those terms, Godfather would be number one. And then you think about like demographic and how just nothing statistically makes sense. So I just need to look at each individual variable right now. So message me and tell me what made you attracted so much to that episode?
Yeah, I'm definitely curious. Because I figured, like, even above all the bonus objectives, I figured the bonus objectives would have our biggest numbers, but not necessarily.
And they did for a while. And around Maverick, they started to go down a little bit and started to even out with the rest of the core episodes, which is good. You know, we have a balanced line throughout.
Mm-hmm.
But There Will Be Blood has been number one, like, since, like, 2 weeks after we released it, and we kept questioning why. Well, it's probably going to go down. Maybe it's just because it's a new episode. No, it's been up there. We have no idea why, but you guys love
Consistent.
it. I wish there was a There Will Be Blood 2. There will be more blood. And that episode would do crazy.
Yeah, seriously. The fourth episode was Grave of Fireflies, which was the first anime film we did, and then we also later on did Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. So we did have 2 animated movies in there. I don't think I'm missing any. But I think that's something that we'll definitely have to do more of next year. I know some that we're kind of eyeing up is Akira. I know we talked about doing Akira and some other things like Paprika would be one. I think we're pretty much hit all the Ghibli films. Is there any that you can think of that?
I know there's some Ghibli films left, but I'm not sure which ones. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure there's some left. If not, we may just do a water cooler talk one day all about Ghibli films.
Yeah, that would be a good one. I'm sure that we have a lot to say about that.
And our anime films are a little bit more niche, but still great to talk about. And I think for those that like those episodes, they really like those episodes. And I actually really liked both of those movies. Both of those movies were great. Nausicaa Valley of the Wind too, I ended up liking a lot more than I thought I would. Actually, I sent you a picture, but I ended up buying, or no, I requested as a gift, and my hermana got me the gift of the complete manga set. And it's a great manga set, and yeah, the artwork looks beautiful for that manga.
Really? Have you had a chance to read it yet?
No, I'm not, but you know how I am with reading. I looked at the pictures though for a little bit. And when I say no, hold on, that made me sound illiterate. Let me just go back. I have problems concentrating, so reading's a little bit more difficult to stay on focus for leisure reading.
I get it. One thing too is that The Wiz, our guest for Nausicaa episode, and I remember he said that he'd be willing to come back for any anime or Godzilla episode we did, so we'll definitely have to have him back as well.
Yeah. That was a fun conversation, and they definitely added to that. That's a big portion of why the episode was so fun, was having the two of them on there, the Doc and the Wiz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
The next episode we did, which is another significant episode, we're not trying to go list by list. We were just going to hit the significant ones, but it seems like we came out the gate with some pretty significant reviews and kind of showing where we stand on a lot of topics. Then we entered Black History Month, and I recommended and requested that we do Night of the Living Dead, which was a sort of unconventional pick for Black History Month, but I think that was like one of the first episodes that, at least for me, I even called it my soapbox about something that I was passionate about. So it was interesting to talk about something you are passionate about that is recorded and is being brought out there for people and hearing their feedback on it as well.
Now, you recently just got the Night of the Living Dead Criterion Collection DVD that just came out, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's one that's on my short list of ones to buy for sure now.
Yeah, it's a great DVD. It has a lot of commentary on it. Everybody's really vocal about that film.
It's a nice cover too. I feel like for me, since we've done that episode and then watching more horror films this past October and doing the Halloween rewatch and just seeing all the different references to Night of the Living Dead was a really fulfilling experience for me. It made me feel good.
Yeah, you're in the know now.
I'm in the know.
Yeah, it's kind of like in They Live, when they put on the glasses and they see, all the subliminal messages and the aliens out there. Oh wait, you don't get that reference. Oh, you're out of the know again.
I get the reference, but no, I haven't seen They Live yet.
Yep, that means you're out of the know. Sucks to be back out there.
Darn it.
I hope you enjoyed your stay.
We've definitely talked about how Bryant has definitely seen more of these movies than I have. And it's not that I don't watch a lot of movies, I just watch a lot of random crap. I don't necessarily go for the critically acclaimed. You definitely have me beat there.
Yeah, I bounce back and forth, but I mean, I have a book gifted by my grandfather of the 1001 Movies to Die. I forget what edition it is, but there was a while that I would just like flip the book open and I would just scroll through a couple pages, and the first thing that really grabbed my eye, I would go ahead and watch. And I mean, everything that I was watching was great. There were a couple misses. I can think of one in particular, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to do an episode on that. I'm not looking forward to that at all. But yeah, it's
What is it?
I don't want to spoil it already, but actually I'll go ahead. It's Fanny and Alexander. It's the only long movie. It's the only movie over 3 hours where I really felt it, and I was losing I was losing memory of what I was watching as I was watching it.
Ugh. Now, okay, so Fanny and Alexander is Bergman, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Have you watched many Bergman films?
No, I haven't, and that's probably why.
Okay, yeah, we do have a couple Bergman films on our like short list to watch, so it'll be interesting when we watch more of his. I've watched a couple.
Now we're getting close to skipping around a little bit, but we got one more consecutive one to talk about, which is this is where we got real divisive, as you would say, which was I believe Radio Raheem was a menace, and you disagreed with me.
I do disagree.
I still hold to that. I'm guessing you still hold to the fact that he is not a menace. I think Radio Raheem was a menace and Do the Right Thing.
Yeah, I disagree, and I know that I know we had one of our listeners did reach out to me and agree with me, so I have 1 point in my favor there.
That was bias. You say listener. Let's not
bias.
Because let's add in the fact that it's your listener who is also a friend, right?
But it wasn't so. But this particular listener is a big Spike Lee fan, and she has a connection to it, a personal connection to it, and the way that she views this from her own background. And so she got to share that with me, and I really appreciated that. It was good to hear.
Wow, there's so much to unpack right there. First off, now you make me seem like the bad guy for coming at it because it holds like sentimental value and it was a really touching moment.
No. I mean, every movie's going to
it.
do that for someone. Everyone's going to have that for someone. But she definitely was more versed on Spike Lee films than I was.
Well, that sounds more like a bias. There's definitely a conflict of interest from multiple angles.
That's not a bias. I mean, someone becomes your favorite and you get connected to films for a reason. But definitely, if we ever do another Spike Lee film, which I'm sure we will, we definitely will have to have her as a guest.
When we get to the audience size that I think would be appropriate for this type of poll, we're definitely having this type of poll of was Radio Raheem a menace or not? Because I still think I make a good argument, but
I think you're a minority though in that assessment, personally.
Oh, I think I'm a minority because people don't want to see the truth. It's like it's like when everybody thought that Denzel Washington was the hero in Training Day.
Denzel Washington?
You're also from Maryland, all right? Don't correct me on the Washington. You know that's how we say it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, so I couldn't tell you about that one. We've definitely had our fair share of disagreements on the show, though.
Yeah, and
it's a wonder we're still friends.
It is a wonder. We eventually we skip one movie and go to another one, which is a big one for you. We got out probably one of your biggest for shame, which was Godfather.
Yes.
And
we didn't have any disagreements in Godfather, though.
No. We both really enjoyed Godfather.
Yeah, Godfather was one that I had no reason for putting off either. It was just I knew I was gonna like it, and I guess I like suffering, so I prolong enjoyment.
That makes sense. That checks
but
out.
I'm excited because we do have The Godfather 2 coming up this year that we're going to be doing, and you made a note too when we were doing that Godfather episode that so you had ranked it an A+. We had both ranked it A+, and you mentioned that you would explain why you didn't make that an S tier when we did the part 2 episode. So that's something that I'm still kind of holding on to and I'm excited for.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited for that episode.
Now getting myself to watch The Godfather Part 2 with that length, it's still a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The length is no longer bothering me now because I realize that I don't have a problem with films over 3 hours. Like, if it's a good film, like I said, Fanny and Alexander is the only film over 3 hours that I remember suffering. But it's weird. I know plenty of 2.5 hour movies, 2 hour movies that I suffered because of the runtime. But for some reason, over 3 hours, I guess because if you have the audacity and the competence to do over 3 hours, it's probably a good film, and and there's a reason for it, and I'm gonna be with it.
Kind of. I feel like there's also, like, for me personally, there's so many films coming out of India that I really want to watch, but every single one of their films is like 3 hours long. So I feel like culturally it might just be a thing for those movies.
Could be, and I'll have to watch more of those movies. I can say Triple R, I had no issue.
Oh gosh, I had an issue. I had to watch that in 2 parts. So usually when I watch them, I have to watch it in a couple parts. But I mean, a lot of them like are good movies, but you do feel the runtime, and a lot of them I feel like can go for some cuts. But that's for me personally. I still can't get into the 3 hour films.
Yeah, there's actually a movie that I've been wanting to watch, and it's a 6 hour film. I'm just trying to figure out, like, architecturally how to set up the mirrors in my house so that I can see it from the bathroom.
Yeah, I was like, architecturally, what film is that? What film is 6 hours that you're trying to watch?
I think it's an Italian film. It's one of, like, the longest runtimes out there. We talked about it before. You said no.
Okay. Yeah, I have my limits.
Yeah.
Like, I think at that point, make it a miniseries. At that point, make it a miniseries. And then, like, if you have a miniseries, like, each episode is going to have its own, like, 3-act structure. Like, the miniseries as a whole have a 3-act structure, and then each episode has a 3-act structure. So I feel like that kind of breaking up of it makes it more palatable. Like, that's the difference between a miniseries and a long movie.
Yeah, but that's like saying you're taking a large book and making it into smaller books. Like taking a novel and putting it into novellas instead.
Like a book series.
Yeah, but sometimes you just
It's
have
the
one
same
giant
as, like,
book.
reading a book series. Yeah, but sometimes things can be cut. Sometimes you can trim the fat a little bit.
I don't know. Like I said, for most of the movies that I've seen over 3 hours, I'm like, I get it. Except for Fanny Alexander. But as what to cut, I don't know because I don't remember anything about that film. Like, soon as the credits rolled, what happened?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be interesting to see what you think of Bergman in general. Because I'm not quite sure what I think about Bergman. I think that he has a lot of, like, conceptually I like his films, but execution, it kind of is like that.
I don't even know what the concept was. There was just a house. That's all I remember was a house. An empty house.
Going back to the runtime, though, as far as The Godfather and There Will Be Blood, I think were the two longer ones that we really watched this year. And I did like both of those. I mean, there are definitely films that make good use of its runtime. But I just definitely have seen a lot of films that are 2.5, 3 hours long and definitely could have trimmed a lot of fat.
Most of the Halloween films, I know we're not talking about legacy sequels, but most of the Halloween films that I had to watch, those hour-and-a-half ones started feeling like 3 hours.
I think in general, a lot of films, there are so many films that can just be better if just they're a little bit more liberal in the cutting room.
Going ahead, we had Breathless, which is a French New Wave film, which is an Asian film that we're both fans of. Actually, I wish I would like to do more French New Wave, at least 2 or 3 this year. And dive more into the French New Wave. I really want us
to do some Agnes Varda. I think Cleo from 5 to 7 would be a good one for us to do this year because it just got pretty high up on the recent Sight and Sound poll. So I think that'll be definitely a good one to tackle.
Yeah, and there's so much to talk about with the French New Wave, and I know with that episode we said, hey, let's save some things because if not, we'll just start going on and it will just be an episode about the French New Wave. Mm-hmm. So different films will pull out different discussions.
Yeah, and for that Breathless episode, I am going to make a little bit of a revision on two things. One's going to be my ranking. So I rank this as an A+, and I'm just going to go ahead and move it up to S tier for me, actually. I've been thinking about it more. That was the second time I viewed the film, And I went back to my Godard ranking on my Letterboxd. I actually have a list of where I rank different Godard films, and I keep changing the list because I just can't decide between this, Contempt, and A Bend Day Apart. So it's hard, but I'm just gonna go and give it an S tier. It's amazing. So much about it I just absolutely love.
Yeah, and I totally get that, and I don't disagree at all. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say for me personally, I wouldn't give it the S tier. Like, but I think it's a great movie, and I respect anybody who puts it up as their top film.
Mm-hmm. The other revision correction I wanted to make is during that episode, I said that part of the reason why I don't like older American movies is because the leading men are so old and unattractive. And I mentioned Bogart and I mentioned Cary Grant in that list of examples. And I recently watched some movies with Cary Grant this year, and I'm gonna take it back. Bogart, yeah, I'm not a fan of Bogart from what I've seen, anyways. But Cary Grant, I kind of feel bad for calling him old and ugly. I mean, he's still a lot older than his co-stars, but I can get down with Cary Grant. I like him.
All right, so next year the question will be: will Caitlyn be down with Humphrey Bogart?
When we finally do Casablanca.
Then we had our first trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
The Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy. Three Flavors.
At least in the core episodes. We did the Oslo trilogy in our bonus objective, but
yes.
For our core, this was the first one. And that was a really good episode because that was our collaboration with the Casters Guild podcast. And we did an episode with them on their channel as well. Yeah,
that was a really fun episode. And we'll have other episodes like that. They may not always be trilogies. I know we do have two trilogies, actually, that we have episodes planned for. Well, we don't have a schedule, but we do plan to do them someday, which is the Before trilogy and the French New Wave. I mean, not French New Wave trilogy. The Three Colors trilogy.
Also the Good, Bad, and Ugly. Fistful of Dollars.
Yes. Yep, Good, Bad, Ugly. We also have some ones with sequels prepared, like Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049, Dazed and Confused, Everybody Wants Some. Films where either one of them or basically like collectively they're must-watch, but separately one or all of them may not be a must-see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like The Godfather is different because both of those individually are must-see, so it was important to separate those. But there are some other ones that will be joint episodes.
But I'm a cheerleader, which I'm not saying, but I'm a cheerleader. That's not my response to the last thing you just said, in which I'm referring to myself as a cheerleader. What I'm saying is the movie But I'm a Cheerleader was our first like kind of lesser known film. This was our first real cult classic. Top Gun was actually our first cult classic, but I'm a Cheerleader was what I felt to be really that true cult classic.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was a little disappointed by with that movie.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think I said even in my review that I gave it a little bit of a bump up. I gave it a B- just because there's not very many good sapphic films, but I think the more films I watch, the lower that's getting, because it is kind of an average movie.
And we had one of my biggest shames, probably my biggest shame from this year, and in which you had actually seen. So this was the one where you really got to, be above me on that high horse, which was Forrest Gump.
I like being on the high horse. Yeah.
And this movie was all right. I think it was a good movie. It has some issues. I wasn't crazy about it, but it was a good movie. What did I rate it?
You gave it a B-. Yeah, it was funny because you gave it a B-, I gave it a B, and Coleman gave it a B+.
Yeah, that is interesting. And I remember we argued a little bit with that film.
We did.
Yeah, we argued, but it was more like we were arguing over a technicality rather than the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then also that episode was a fun one, though, because I think we got a lot of laughs at it. I was re-listening to it again, and I was laughing over again. Anytime we have Coleman, though, it's always a good time.
Yeah, it is. Need him for more episodes. Though that's interesting because probably our next film with him is going to be Schindler's List, so I wonder how funny that one's going to be.
Yeah, maybe not quite so many laughs on that one.
So the next film that we have is probably, Caitlyn, I predict is when you disappoint the audience most, but I can say for sure is when you disappointed my family the most. Both my brother and my mother were just
Oh gosh.
just didn't understand. They just said, what is wrong with her? And that was the movie Predator, where your choice of words too were baffling. You said that you were bored. Who gets bored during the Predator?
Me.
What time do you find to get bored?
I never want to watch this movie again. It's definitely our most divisive. You gave it an A-, I gave it a D-, which even then I was like, this is pushing it a little bit. I didn't want to give it quite the same level as I gave it Texas Chainsaw, but even in the episode I said I think I actually enjoyed Texas Chainsaw a little bit better than Predator.
I still don't understand that to this day.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
You know, I've only pulled out the E once, and then there's a couple Ds. But looking at our grades, we do a lot of Bs.
There's a lot of average movies out there. There's also a lot of movies that just balance out. Yes, and Predator was a warning as well, or a foretelling about your disgust with the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that brought up the topic of how we were raised, because we both have about the same age, and our parents are about the same age. And my mom introduced me to a lot of movies from the 80s, which is why I've seen a lot of these 80s films, such as Predator, Coming to America for the most part, American Werewolf in London, Gremlins. But you, on the other hand, hadn't seen any of these, which then my theory is that your mother noticed that you would not appreciate these and didn't even bother.
I mean, she showed me 80s movies. She showed me Labyrinth, Heathers, John Hughes films, and those ones I all liked. She did show me The Goonies, which I did not like.
You didn't see Heathers so much later, though. You didn't see Heathers until way into adulthood. Well, not way into adulthood.
Yeah, but she was the one. I watched it with her, though.
Right.
So
yeah, my mom had me watch Heathers as well.
I don't think she would have showed me Heathers as a child, my mom.
I don't think I was a child. No, I watched that movie. I was an adult at the time when I watched that movie. Though I could see her let me watch when I was a teenager, like an older teen.
Yeah.
My mom was, like we said, my mom was pretty protective too, like real protective.
I mean, yeah. I mean, my mom shows me a lot of movies, but I think it's more of but there is a lot of 80s movies that are like the classic 80s movies. She showed me a lot of like 80s rom-coms and Labyrinth, obviously, because of Muppets and Frank Oz and stuff. But yeah.
And David Bowie.
So it's not that I hate all 80s movies. It's just a lot of the ones that seem to make our qualifications about must-see, I'm not a big fan of them.
Yeah, because we had that, Jaws. You did like Coming to America, and you did like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like the comedy works a bit for you.
Yeah.
You're not a Max Landis fan, though. Not so much.
Well, I was Coming to America. I was surprised. Because I remember I was really surprised by that because I was expecting to hate it when I saw that name.
Hellraiser, you were like, eh.
Hellraiser is one that I appreciated better on a second viewing, for sure. My mom's not a big Hellraiser fan, though.
Yeah, again, opposites. My mom is a big Hellraiser fan. Also, I just want to say with the 80s, guys, we did not plan that. It wasn't like this year we're going to do a bunch of 80s film toward the end of the year. That just somehow happened. Like, remakes were being remade of all these 80s films, and then they started fitting into our themes, and we didn't realize till after we recorded all of them that, oh, wait, a lot of these are from the 80s. So next year, maybe we're going to go ahead and dabble in the other decades as well. Not so much 80s.
Yeah, we did a lot of 80s, and then in the horror movie realm, we did a lot of slashers.
Yeah, the slashers did come back this year, but that was because of remakes as well.
Mm-hmm, because of Texas Chainsaw. We did a Scream bonus objective, Halloween Ends, of course.
But we did dip into the 90s, that old 90s hot tub with the ladies watching Pretty Woman.
Jeez.
Which was a movie I was surprised by.
Yeah. We need to do more rom-coms, too, in this coming year.
I'm down. Especially if they have, what's her name? Julia Roberts in them.
Yeah. Although I just watched Ticket to Paradise, I think it's called. It was one that I I don't know if I was excited for it. I didn't really look at any reviews or anything, but it was a rom-com with her and George Clooney, and they obviously had teamed up together in movies before, so I was like, okay, these are characters who have good chemistry, and I was very disappointed. And and the thing is, too, is that the film brought back the blooper reel. We haven't watched one yet, but the big, 90s, early 2000s rom-com thing was to have a blooper reel at the end, and it had one of those. And I was like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, the rom-com's coming back. But no, it was not a good movie.
Yeah, no. When they say, I hope rom-coms don't come back, because I like the way rom-coms have been evolving.
I think that they've been consistent on streaming for a while.
Yeah, but I hope we don't go back to the cliche rom-coms, like dashing through the airport, like falling in love with the unnoticed man.
Yeah, there are tropes that I want to die, but as far as the rom-com vibe, I do miss it to a degree. I'm not gonna lie.
You mentioned slashers, but this year wasn't all about, horror movies weren't all about slashers. They even got a little bit magical, a little bit of hocus pocus. Which this was probably one of the biggest childhood for shames for you. Because you just somehow went through life without seeing hocus pocus. But then we started finding out about your backstory, your origin story, and how you were kind of kept away from this for religious reasons.
Yeah, I learned some things this year because of this episode about my background and why I was secluded away from the secular Halloween traditions. So yeah, I learned some things. That was a good episode. I did some research too about hell houses, I think that they're called, which is the Christianity haunted houses that they did, and got to do some research there. And so, yeah, listen to that episode if it's something that you're interested in, because that was an interesting dynamic. I got to explore some religious trauma, I guess.
Yeah, and a lot of people did listen to that episode. That was one of our top listened episodes, and I'm not surprised. It fits with our demographic.
It's true. Definitely. I think that was probably my biggest for shame on a cultural level, because I feel there's a couple movies that you always get oh my gosh, you haven't seen this, and that's one of them that is just consistently every year. So now I finally saw it.
Well, it's a good thing. See, this podcast helps you get things out of the way.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Bryant. Is there a episode of our core episodes that is the favorite of ones that you hadn't seen before, that you watched for the first time this year? Did any meet high up on my list? Yeah, so the only films that you gave S tiers to were films that you had already seen. So that was, you gave an S tier to The Matrix, and you gave one to Saving Private Ryan. And I think that was all that you gave an S tier rank to, but those you had seen before, so you knew what you were getting when you were coming into it. We had a couple A pluses, I think. I think The Godfather and There Will Be Blood were A pluses. Like I said, I believe you had already seen both of those already, but were there any films that you really just enjoyed watching for the first time?
There's a lot of films that I really enjoyed, and I was surprised how much I enjoyed them, but no, I can't say any blew me away. Any of them are going to be now my top favorites. Unfortunately, I can't say that.
Okay. So that's definitely going to be something
to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, that'll be something to be on the lookout for next year, to try and get you, one that you're going to be really excited about. For me, I think that because, like I said, obviously for me, there were more films that I was watching for the first time. So definitely There Will Be Blood, and The Godfather would be probably my top ones of first watches.
Makes sense. Though I am taking away one of those S ratings, and it's actually about to be the next film that we're going to talk about.
Really?
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan. I'm going to take away the S grade, and that's because the S grade, it has both the film just being excellent in technical and art sense, but it also to have that personal love for it. And I can't say that I personally love Saving Private Ryan. It's just not, it's a great film, and I guess I do love, but it's not one of my top films. So I would just put it at an A+. But everything I said about it, I still agree with. Everything, I still stand behind that. That is a near perfect film. One of the closest perfect films that we've ever had. And really, there's not many perfect films out there I can, even in like my top films, even in my top two favorite films that I have, there's issues that I have in those films. So, and Matrix I talked about, I didn't really like the love interest. I thought it was real quick between Neo and Trinity. And I didn't think that the movie needed that, and I think that's the only fault of the movie. But it's still S tier for me. But yeah, Saving Private Ryan,
Yeah.
I'll put it at an A+.
Okay. That's fair. Like, S tier, it really does have to have some kind of hit you a certain way. Whether
Needs
it's
to
a
have
personal connection or just, the oomph you said.
Yeah, the oomph. I was just about to say that OOF, that double OF.
Mm-hmm. I want to go back a little bit to Videodrome real quick. Videodrome was it kind of is an oddity, I think, in the films that we've watched, because it's definitely the oddest film that we've watched. Cronenberg's on his own level. Cronenberg's definitely on his own level. And I'm definitely excited when we finally get to do some like Lynch too, just to see. And I want to go back and correct. We both gave this a B. And I think I'm going to give it up to a B+. I've been thinking about this film a lot, actually. I think it's one of the ones that we've watched that has probably like stuck with me the most. And I'll like read more into it. And I watched another Cronenberg because he had Crimes of the Future this year. In an episode I said I wasn't really excited to see more from Cronenberg, but I am going to correct that because now I am excited to see more Cronenberg. He's definitely a director that not all of his films work for me, but I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the movies.
I'm really glad you liked it. And yeah, I'm a Cronenberg fan as well. I'm not a crazy Cronenberg fan. I know there's some diehard fans out there, but Videodrome, it really is a great movie. I know that one was also another kind of niche listen, but even if you haven't seen the film, I think that was a great episode and a great discussion that we had. And I think you would you would get a lot of it even just out of that episode without seeing the movie.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Now, I don't know about you, but the last film that I would like to talk about, which is probably the biggest disappointing thing you ever said to me, was included in this episode, which was that you did not like the bar scene in Gremlins.
I didn't. It was too much.
It was
I'm sorry.
amazing.
I feel like Gremlins, there was just times where it's like I wanted to just like tone it down a little bit, and that was an example.
That's not the Gremlin way. Which is why I'm extremely excited to see what you think of Gremlins 2. I remember I told, even Devin, the rookie, had the best response when I told him. I said, yeah, Caitlyn didn't like the bar scene in Gremlins. And he just paused and looked at me dumbfounded and said, why? Like, he just could not comprehend. Like, what was... That's just like saying someone, I don't like fun. Or I don't like cake. What? Why don't you like...
Sorry.
Like, drinking water feels funny. What?
It's funny because I feel like a lot of times we're like so on the same page with movies, but then stuff like this happens and it's like complete opposites. So it's good though. It's a very subjective podcast. Obviously, our opinions are all going to be subjective, but I think that we have a good variety without being at each other's throats all the time. We have common ground, but yeah.
It's a good dynamic. Even though some opinions are more right than others, it's a great dynamic.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I'm going to watch that scene now just in spite of you tonight.
Okay.
Like, how does she not get this with the little Muppet and the trench coat? It's perfect.
And then I'll have like a cigar too, just like gambling and
Yes.
tone it down. So we talked about like your favorite picks. What about like worst picks? I mean, I can look at the letter grade and I know which one's worse, but like if talking about just the ones that we've really disliked for a second.
Man, honestly, most of those are the legacy sequels. That's what's coming into my head and clouding it. I'll have to look at the list, but I want to say Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the one that I really did not like watching, even the second time. Usually second time, like, I kind of appreciate movies more, but this, no.
Yeah, for me, my lowest were definitely Predator, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that one, it's a good episode to listen to just because there's so much that went on behind the scenes for that film that if you're looking for a little bit more film trivia, definitely go to that episode. But yeah, those are definitely my worst picks for sure. Now, if we want to kind of switch topics to kind of go back to those bonus objectives, I think that our best bonus objective as far as us both enjoying it and being on the same page is still Top Gun Maverick. And so for me personally, I'm a little curious to see if it's going to be brought up at all in our Best of 2022 awards season episode.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to talk too much about the bonus objectives, because they are going to make an appearance in our end of the year, the 2022 year-end review. We need to figure out
our yeah, I think we did call it was still a watercolor clock, but really it's the Operation Silver Screen Awards.
Yeah, maybe we'll call it that, the Operation Awards. Operation Awarding.
Maybe
Operation
we'll work
Placeholder.
on that title. We'll definitely work on that title.
But yeah, there's definitely some that'll be brought up. Some of them have made certain lists. I've mentioned that quite a few times that, hey, this certain movie is going to be put in a certain category. So if you listen to our 2021 episode, all right, go ahead. If you haven't, go ahead, listen to it to see what our categories are. We're going to probably add some more this year, probably a couple. But look at those categories, and then thinking about this year, you've been listening to us, you can probably predict where a couple of them are going to go.
Oh, definitely. So what are you looking forward to then in 2022 as far as the podcast goes?
Off the top of my head, I know we scheduled out for May, almost May, or no, I think just March. So I'm looking forward to, I know we're going to do Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier. How do you say his name?
Poitier?
Yeah.
Poitier?
Because I'm really interested in watching some of his films. I don't think I've ever seen any of his films, and that's something that I'm more ashamed to say. So
I like him. He actually had Apple Plus had a little bit of a collection of his films, and so I got a chance to watch a few recently, and I do like him as an actor.
Yeah, and there's one that's playing at the Alamo as well that I plan to see in February. Like, it's already being posted up and advertised. Give me 1 second, but while I look that up, the other thing that I'm looking forward to is just doing, we're going to be bringing you guys more content, so I'm looking forward to doing more content and seeing what those new episodes, whether it be more episodes or episodes in different sense, I'm looking forward to just seeing more of that and exploring movies more. I hope this year that we're able to do our birthday picks. This year we weren't able to. I was going to
mention that too.
Yeah, this year we weren't able to. Caitlyn had one prepared, I had one prepared, and we just had to push it off because of themes and schedulings that had taken place. Then we were going to do it for Thanksgiving, but then we had Veterans Day, and we actually had a Thanksgiving movie. But since we're going to be doing more content, we're probably going to have more of an opportunity to do that.
Well, you know what I was thankful for? I was thankful for my birthday and me, so I think it still would have fit.
Nope, I need more.
But yeah, that's something I was really excited for as well.
The movie is A Raisin in the Sun.
Ah, okay. I have not seen that one yet.
Yep, going to see that one February 4th.
Nice.
Hopefully if tickets don't sell out.
I really wish that we had an Alamo Draft House near me. Because I feel like you get a lot more opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
Not AMC.
So, I mean, I know AMC does some, but yeah, not as much as Alamo. The only thing, though, with the season pass is I can only get tickets, I think, a month before, 4 weeks before the movie is released.
Oh.
Yeah, which is still a long time, but for I don't know, huge movies that are only playing once, you may not get the perfect seat.
Yeah.
What are you excited for next year?
Before I answer that, I want to say that I'm currently holding a cat at the moment. And just a shout out to my cat that we affectionately named Re-Record because, ow, she climbs up my back. She is the reason why Bryant hates me for editing, while editing.
Yeah, I like how you say affectionately named her Re-Record.
Yeah, no, maybe not. But listen to our blooper reel if you want to get a good idea of some of the things that Bryant cuts out. That's one thing I'm looking forward to. If we do another blooper reel, it could be great.
Yeah. I mean, it did all right. I don't know. That's something that I want to hear from the audience. If you want to hear more of those blooper reels, if it's something that you want put in the beginning or the end of the episode, so let us know what the best route for that is.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to, in general, just more feedback from you guys. I think that's something that we're still really, really wanting and looking forward to. And I think we're going to be working towards getting out some different content and stuff for you in addition to our normal content that we do on a bi-weekly basis. We're going to be doing more of these water cooler talks where we kind of just talk about different topics, very informal, just talk about some of our favorites and just some other just low-key film discussions. We're also going to be probably putting up our YouTube and TikTok videos up soon, our accounts on that soon, and we're going to have a little bit of different content on there as well, so that's something that you guys can look forward to.
Yeah, and if you're interested in seeing how we did this year, Anchor did provide us with statistics, and that is posted in our Instagram, correct? Or just Twitter?
I didn't post the full statistics. I just posted, what was it?
Well, you posted up some statistics, like how many episodes?
I posted.
Maybe
yeah,
we do
how many
need slides.
episodes, minutes, and countries. But I also posted our listeners' personality, which according to Spotify, you guys' personality is the devotee. It says, when your fans love a podcast, they really love it. They're quick to support new releases and play their favorite episodes over and over. So that's definitely something that we love to hear.
Which is crazy because having the audience devoted to us when we ourselves are devoted to them. Some mutual devotion.
Mutual devotion.
Mutual devotion.
How cheesy.
Yes.
How cheesy.
I'm practicing my awards speech.
We couldn't do it without you guys.
And by you guys, I mean mostly me and my devotion.
Do you want to talk about our moving to weekly too?
I mentioned that we're going to be putting out more content and have more opportunities for episodes. So we've been discussing how we're going to go ahead and continue into the next year. Because the reason that we did bi-weekly this year is because, of course, we never did a podcast before. Or at least I've never been on a running podcast. I don't know if you had like some secret life, some Illuminati podcast going on.
I was on my college radio station for a little bit.
Yeah, see, you had that. But there's a lot that goes into a podcast. So we said that, hey, we're going to go ahead and do it bi-weekly. That way we have enough for the whole production, and anything that we're unprepared for, we have time to fix. So that, we get 2 weeks for every episode. Even though in the last couple months, we've only been giving each other really a week. It's been more of like we just spent a week on the production and then we have like a week rest. So we see the opportunity now to be able to provide you guys with more episodes. So we're discussing whether we're going to do that as giving you guys weekly core episodes, or if we're going to do still every other week core episodes. And then in the middle of it, we'll do some kind of, off topic water cooler talk, still in reference to movies, a little informal like this here, a little bit shorter, or, we'll do some combination of the both. So that's something that we're going to continue discussing into the new year. And if you guys have any feedback, we would love to hear it.
Yeah, and I also just want to know what kind of content you guys want. I know on Instagram we've been given some film recommendations there. We've been doing our best watches of the month. I think we're going to get back into doing anticipated releases for the months as well, and doing posts there, so that way you guys can have a little bit of knowledge there and know what you're going to be prepared for. So yeah, let us know what kind of content you guys want to see, because that's also going to be a big influence on what we end up doing. That pretty much wraps our year-end review. It's been a good year. It's been a good year, and I'm excited to see where we go from here with the podcast, and I hope you guys are too.
Yeah, watch right after this episode. Operation Silver Screen disbanded after disagreement of Godfather Part 2.
I mean, it could happen. It could happen.
The audience splits. One of us goes on a solo tour.
Oh gosh, our own solo undertaking.
Which one would be the Beyonce?
Oh gosh, I mean, come on.
we know who the queen is here.
Mm-hmm. But if you want to follow us on social media, once again, we're going to be on Twitter and Instagram at OpSilverScreen. On Facebook, we're on Operation Silver Screen, but Twitter and Instagram, it is OpSilverScreen. Also, do be following our letterboxes. I've kind of gotten on Bryant a little bit for his letterbox. Something that I've been liking to do is do a lot of reviews and ratings on films there, films that we're not talking about here in the podcast. And I've been telling Bryant that this new year he should start, making it an effort to do more reviews on his.
I've been making it an effort. It just doesn't have, the results you want.
What effort? There's no reviews.
It's still an effort. I can make an effort to push a mountain. If the mountain doesn't go anywhere, that's not on me. I made the effort.
Oh my gosh. You've not written a single review.
Okay, I am going to start doing the reviews and putting out the stars there. Of course, for the movies that we do, I won't put it out there right away. I probably won't even put it out there at all. I don't think you put it out there at all.
I think there's a couple that I went back on like months and months later. But I have a list on mine of all the films that we've tackled on the podcast too, but you can look there. But if you want to follow us on there, I'm at Coffee Spoon Kate. That's Coffee Spoon CAIT, and Bryant's at Swig Seal. That's capital S, capital S.
Till next time, I'm Bryant.
And I'm Caitlyn. And have a good New Year.
See you.